Here, I want to do a couple things. This is for your own knowledge benefit, as well as the knowledge of the people who are watching this on the internet. This is my last class teaching at the Seattle Go Center for the summer. I'm going to keep uploading videos. I have some ideas and things I want to try, just for lessons for the next 2 months, especially given the prevalence of robots overrunning Go. I want to tackle that a little bit more directly. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, keep watching. There'll still be videos, and they'll be probably a little bit different format than what you're used to, just because, again, this class will be, I'm going to be done teaching it for 2 months. My understanding, and I don't know this officially, but the next month there will be a substitute teacher who will still continue. So keep coming back on Mondays, right? There'll still be a class. I'm just on vacation and I'm on the East Coast. And then I'm not sure about August. August, they often just don't have classes because of Go Congress and just summer, and we'll start the new season in September. So does that sound good?
Yep.
All right. So today, I planned out a lesson or a lecture based on a player I don't think I've ever talked about really very much in this class before. And we'll find out who gets the emails, because who is that player?
Korean top professional.
Korean top professional. Very good. Does anyone remember the name?
He won some number of titles.
Yes. He's won some number of titles. So far we're doing great, guys.
11.
He simultaneously held 11, I think, was yes? Good. No? Okay, this is Hun-Hyun. And there's a bunch of things you should know about Hun-Hyun. Because before him, right, Korea Go was bad. Right? Like we're talking basically worst of the big three countries. During really the 20th century, until you get to the latter part of the 20th century, Go was basically ruled by Japan, right? The strongest players were Japanese. They did the most development of the game, especially like the new Fuseki movement, Go Seigen. They were really the spearheading force in Go. And it really wasn't until the second half of the 20th century where China and Korea started to catch up. And really the first player in Korea who really modernized Go in Korea and became, we'll say like the Superman of Go in Korea was Hun-Hyun. And he became pro in Korea, I think at age 9, some obscenely young age. Just super Go prodigy, started learning at 4. And 5 years later was, this insanely strong kid. Like many Go players from China and Korea, he went to study in Japan. And that, again, there's another very famous Korean Go player you may have heard of called Cho Chikun, who sort of followed the same trajectory. Hun-Hyun goes to Japan. They immediately demote him. They don't recognize him as professional. They put him back to 4Q. He spends about, I think, 3 years there, and then he leaves a 5-down professional. Right, so they kind of say, okay, oh yeah, you're really good. They send him back on his way to Korea, and Hun-Hyun basically just dominates Korean Go. Like he is the Superman of Go. And this continues well into the 1980s, where one of his students, again, another child prodigy, starts to start winning some games. And this student became really the Superman of Go, not just for Korea, but for the world in the 1990s. And so who knows what I'm talking about here? Does anyone know this player? It's good. All right, you guys are here for a reason, right here to learn. This player's name was Lee Chang-ho. And the nickname of Lee Chang-ho is the Stone Buddha, right? He sat very emotionless on the board. Late, especially in the 1990s, his style became so incredibly calm and so just incredibly like almost passive. Like he would just let his opponents do whatever he wanted to, and then he would just play very solidly, find one little mistake, exploit it, and win by a half point. That was kind of his style. Hun-Hyun, right, who we're talking about today primarily, was known as the god of war. So let's think about this, right? You have this very violent, vicious Go player, Hun-Hyun, right, master of the Go board, teaching this, this player who basically grew to fear fighting. Like maybe not fear, but just wanted to avoid it. And so Hun-Hyun, not only did he shape Go because he was so strong at it, because he really taught the first like international player from Korea to be so passive, right? Because you have to imagine, right? His teacher was this very aggressive fighter, and you're this little kid student, Lee Chang-ho, and you're playing, Go against this like super awesome fighter who's going to kill you. You start to learn some Go habits, right? And so one of the reasons why Lee Chang-ho's style is so passive and so solid, right, is because his teacher was a maniac.
So he's still playing against his teacher.
Oh yeah, they still play.
I'm saying, but his style of play later in life is he's still trying not to get beat up.
Absolutely, those things last, right? Like he's still very we'll say passive and cautious, and for at least Korean Go players, right? And of course, after Lee Chang-ho, the next big star from Korea was Lee Sedol, and Lee Sedol was the maniac again, right? He was the little Cho Hun-Hyun. And so like history repeats itself, right? You have like this maniac, aggressive player dominate Go in Korea. His student, right, became very, very solid and didn't want to leave any weaknesses, didn't want to get any big fights because of his teacher's style. And then the next person to overtake, that extreme stone Buddha style was Lee Sedol, who was even crazier, right, than Cho Hun-Hyun, right? So this thing goes in cycles.
Every next player was stronger than previous one, right?
Say that again?
Every next player was stronger than previous.
We could debate that. I don't want to get into that historical conversation.
So difference isn't that clear.
The difference isn't always that clear because the thing is, Go there's a lot of variables, right? And if you look at a person like especially professional Go players' careers, right? They tend to peak, in their 30s, right? As they go, they tend to stop improving, and when you have a new set of fresh ideas, right? Think of like AlphaGo or just the insanely whole board craziness that Lee Sedol would bring to the game. Everything that you learned about Go might seem wrong for a while. And so a lot of these styles, a lot of these players, it's hard to say that yes, this person was absolutely better than this player. A lot of this has to do with the culture and the time period they brought off and how they deal with that style. A lot of it is, think about any sports game, right? Like if you are really big and tall and strong, maybe you can be exploited by a really small, fast person, right? Who can just dribble the ball around you or do whatever, right? But if you're a little small, fast person, if there's someone who's just as fast but just a little bit bigger, well, they're just going to tackle you the whole time and kick the ball in the goal. So there's there's a lot of variables. It's not just about strength. There is very styles of Go and how capable you are in dealing with these different situations. Okay, so back to Cho Hun-Hyun, right, and Lee Chang-ho. Let me think if I get the year right. I'm going to get the year wrong. I think it was 1984? 1986? Let's say it's either 4 or 6. I think it's 6. I think Lee Chang-ho becomes pro, right, the student of Cho Hun-Hyun, right, the little stone Buddha guy. I think he's about 11 years old at the time. And he would occasionally meet with Cho Hun-Hyun, and Cho Hun-Hyun would just smack him down, right? Cho Hun-Hyun would just beat him. He's his teacher. Here's an 11-year-old kid, still beating him. 3 years go by, right? I don't think it's until 3 years later, 1989, where Lee Chang-ho starts actually beating his teacher. And from that point on, basically has his number, right? Going into the 90s, Lee Chang-ho, the stone Buddha, starts saying to his teacher, "Yep, I can beat you. It's all over for you, old man." The game I want to show you guys today. This is between Cho Hun-Hyun, right, the old master of Korea, founder of bringing Korean Go onto the international stage as black, against Lee Chang-ho as white. And this is one of their tournament games from 1989. This is actually one of the title games. Lee Chang-ho isn't quite Lee Chang-ho yet. He hasn't quite adopted that stone Buddha style, right? So he's going to get involved into some of these crazy fights, and we'll see how these things run across the board. I want to show you a little over 100 moves of this game, because after 100 moves, the game is more or less decided. They do play it out all the way to the end, but it's not that close of a game, even though it goes to counting. Do you want to see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Cho Hun-Hyun is black, like I said. Actually, I know the first 4 moves, but I always forget the order. You're not looking at the iPad. Let's assume that's there. Yeah, I must play opposite corner first, right? And there we go. And black gets a stone here. And then white does not respond over here. White plays over here. So far, this is kind of like a normal Go game, what you'd expect, right? Playing the corners, approach corners, that's what we find normal. Anything weird about this move? Yeah, not responding to a corner approach, right? Like instead engaging another corner. And again, this is we'll say like Li Chang-ho's experimental phase, right? Before he was the Stone Buddha, right? A couple of years later go by, he matures a little bit. Instead of being like a 14-year-old, he's all of a sudden, a 16-year-old. And he'll play right? Again, very passive style. But he's still sort of the adolescent teenager who's experimenting with things. And so he comes up with this move. And this move isn't uncommon, like pros have played this before. Why would you consider playing this move? Why wouldn't you respond over here? What is this move trying to do?
He's trying to put a cap on what Black's going to do in the corner.
What Black does in the corner, and what else?
Cut of Black's Moyo. So natural, I guess if White typically replies with a Shamari, then Black also pulls back and makes...
Can play a Kobayashi, can play here,
which
can
makes
play
the
here.
high approach more dangerous. But like with
Yeah.
Kobayashi, you never play the high.
Right.
Or you, not never.
So if Black just turns all the stones into a framework, we don't necessarily want to play here anymore because this stone's going to get attacked and ran into this stone, right? So we don't really want to do that. Furthermore, this feels like when White plays here, we're keeping Black low, right? From just a feeling perspective, Black has this stone that's on the third line. Black has this stone that's on the third line. If you play all of your stones in the game of Go on the third line, what happens? You lose, right? You need to have outside influence in order to win. And so when Li Chang-ho plays here, he's going, yeah, I'm just going to keep you low. Perfect. What do you think Black does?
It's just the lower left stone.
Yeah, Black's like, hey, over here. We're playing this corner first. And this puts a lot of pressure on this stone. White doesn't want to get completely surrounded, so he presses out. I did actually put this game into Leela and looked at a few situations before I came here tonight. For those of you who don't know, Leela is a very strong robot you can basically download.
Vanilla Leela? Is that 0?
It's the Leela version 11, whatever goes into that. Leela actually didn't like this move as much as some other things. Leela wanted you to Tanuki, or wanted Li Chang-ho to Tanuki. Leela ended up, I only ran it for maybe, a couple 100,000 variations, but it liked this move when I stopped it, at the point where I stopped it, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Trade corners.
It's kind of trade corners, but it predicted that, if Hun-Hyun does this, Leela will actually still live in this corner, or fight through and cut, and then figure out a way to live. One of those possibilities. Which is weird because as humans, right, like Go traditional theory, if you're in a 2-to-1 situation, right, your opponent is attacking you 2 stones to 1, you should definitely respond. Right, that is the rule that you get taught.
So what if Black takes a 3-3 in this situation?
Right here, you're actually kind of happy about it. You're not super happy, but like now this stone is actually hard to kill. It can still run out, and it can reduce and cut off one side. So if Black takes a 3-3 right away, you don't feel actually much pressure. And also, whereas I said in a 2-to-1 situation, you should fight, you should continue. If it is a 3-to-1 situation, you should not continue. You should go play somewhere else. Right? So it's like, here's your hierarchy. This is right out of Yuan Yang, who's a famous Go teacher in the United States, 7-dan pro. Says, oh yeah, 1-to-1, right? You can do whatever you want. You can play somewhere else, you could play there. It's just what you feel is the best move given the whole board. 2 against 1, you have to play there. Both players, right? This is now the biggest, most important area in the board. 3-to-1, never play there. Now your opponent has invested so much and you have invested so little, you must play somewhere else.
I mean, that would be saying that at this point, anything you do, you'd likely lose anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll end up with a negative result. Although I see professionals do it all the time, right?
Do they get away with it though?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean they do, but I don't know, they're professionals. One of the other games I actually considered showing tonight, it was another Lee Chang-ho game versus Cho Hun-Hyun. They do that exactly thing, where Cho Hun-Hyun allows Lee Chang-ho to get 3 stones against 1 in a corner. And then he finally responds. Right? He's like, 1-1, now I'll go play somewhere else. 2-1, now I'll go play somewhere else. 3-1, okay, now I'll play. And so he just violates, that whole go axiom.
Well, just as a little bit of aside, in this case here, if there's a black stone on the 5-5 point, would white on the 3-3 maybe still save this?
Right now?
Well, yeah, assuming black.
Oh, black plays here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if white plays here, it's very difficult to kill white outright because you have these cuts.
Well, because it's not immediately dead, maybe not obviously live or dead, so there could be some chance. But
Yeah, if you want to kill black's next move, it's something like this,
yeah.
which now puts white in pretty dire danger. But again, there are things here and here to do.
So it's not possible, but we should probably try to get away with it.
All right, here's what I'm saying. In your games,
Yes.
it's black to play, okay, and this is the board. In your games, you play here. Okay, black will get a good result.
And white should.
Even if you don't kill, you'll still get a really good result.
White should look for a bigger move.
And white should tanuki, yeah. But Leela says play here, so I don't know. Robot says play there. So I don't know. Go get the robot going on and see what it has to say. I don't know.
I think the alphabet teaching tool recommended Lee Chang-ho's.
Oh yeah, in the opening.
The not
this
what
one?
Leela said, but the attach on top of that 04.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah. So this is what Lee Chang-ho plays. This is the game. And this is pretty almost a forced sequence. This is a Joseki kind of thing. You guys seen stuff like this before?
How does that continue on?
Well, it continues with this move. This is a Joseki. What black is trying to do, right, is make a group over here while threatening to push through and cut. And if white defends, black will have time to get a group over here and a group over here. And if you get to make solid groups on 2 sides of your opponent, you just got a good result. Like that's how you get a good result in Go. If you're strong on the 2 places where your opponent's strong, that means your opponent's group isn't very efficient. So, black plays here, that's Joseki. White plays here. Again, Joseki, they're just little shape points to fight for this corner. White does not play here. This is where Q players will play, right? Like, oh, he's coming to my corner. This is the shape point you have to play.
Real question.
Oh, yeah.
The reason to play that shape point rather than extending down is it protecting an eye or?
So if you play here,
Yeah.
black will play here. Are you going to connect?
Sure.
Okay.
I see.
And granted, white has a counter cut, so black really should have one other stone here before this cut truly works. But black wants to put a stone over here anyway.
Right.
And then if he does, look at this corner group, it's super sad. How are these 2 stones doing?
Not so good.
They're extremely sad. So,
Cool. Thanks.
yeah, that's a good question. That's why we need the shape point. Likewise, black actually doesn't take this Atari. You guys are like, oh, look, black. We can now scoop out this whole corner, right? But how much does black really gain by doing this? Black still has a whole bunch of weaknesses, right? So you still have to come back and fix. And you lost the ability to take this Atari. So what's more important, the whole strength of the group or these couple of points over here? So black plays here first. White will play here. Because now white, can't be cut through here. So white is okay to take the corner, which is still big. And black comes up threatening to not only just make a group over here and over here, but actually completely surround that corner group. All right, this is another situation where Leela did not like the Lee Chang-ho move. Oh my God, is it Lucas?
Yeah. I'm just here, not for class. Happened to drop by.
Okay. Hi.
Oh, how are you? Good. Yeah, Alex. What's up? All right, both of us
All right. So this is another point where Li Chang-ho's move was not really like. I mean, I think it's the move a human would play, right? The robot really wants Li Chang-ho to be more aggressive. Li Chang-ho again was, just playing a standard kind of normal passive move. I'll tell you, the robot really wanted to attack directly, and this gets into a giant crazy fight immediately, because this white group surprisingly isn't completely alive yet, and is going to immediately be surrounded. In the game, Li Chang-ho plays here. And it's just like, let me just get out, keep everybody safe, keep black's two groups separated, I can attack later. And again, this is a very, later on, especially in the 90s, after Li Chang-ho becomes the Stone Buddha, this is a very common type of move Li Chang-ho would play, right? Where Lee Sedol, would play something more like this much more readily. Of course, once white gets out and breaks these two groups, how does this group feel over here?
Sad.
It's feeling weak, right? So how do you make it feel not so weak?
Extend.
Extend where? How far?
2, 3.
A 3 space? 2 space? Star points.
2 space,
Oh, that's aggressive.
1 space.
That's very optimistic. Here's the situation. And both Leela and Hun-Hyun agree with this, right? They're like, okay, look, white is out. There's nothing we can really do about that, right? We can't surround the stone. The only thing for us to do right now is be strong. We can't make a bazillion points over here, right? Because white already has a cornerstone. So you just play a defensive move. Simple. Now, if you're white, what are you thinking now?
Time to come back to this step.
Maybe time to come back over here? It's not quite what white's thinking yet. I think if you come back over here, I think this is good. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I think this is a good move. But
The black group's not quite strong yet.
yeah, this looks a little suspicious, right?
It'd be nice to weaken it or reduce it.
Yeah, basically right now, Li Chang-ho is going to poke at it for some aji. All right, let's think about ways we could annoy this group. Can we cut this? Is my first question.
Double attack.
Yeah, no, this is terrible. Don't ever do this. Look what happens. You die so hard. Are you going to play here? Aha, did you make your groups, did you make black weaker? You can't extend that way because black just eats you that way. So this defect isn't a defect, right? Like, it's not, white has no way to take advantage of this. So we have to poke that defect a different way. We have to get a different aji from it. What's another way we can poke at that defect?
Peep on the third line?
Peep. Which peep? This peep? This peep?
No, third line.
Wait, which way?
Third line.
Oh, this peep. That's better, but it's okay.
Go with the clamp on the road.
A clamp? Where? This one? You, sir, are at least professional strength now.
I'm about 16Q.
Yeah, this is a great way to annoy this shape. If black fixes like this is a terrible move for black, right? Black already had these two stones connected because of the double Atari, right? So if black wants to fix this way, that's dumb. Right, that's like black already has a stone there because white can't play there. And if black plays this way, later on, if this stone ever gets, well, maybe not this stone, but this stone later on has more forcing moves, right? This stone isn't done being utilized. Whereas if we played here, what's the next follow-up here? but now there's a hole in our shape. All right, this would be a lot better if that stone was there. So it's like if we poke here once, we get to poke here again later. And all of a sudden this big black wall has like a little white wall right in its way. White's next move is over here. And this is maybe, maybe a little too defensive. What does this move do? Like what is White's idea here? Like it is a big move, but what makes it big? What is this move about?
Making two eyes locally?
Yeah, number one, really guaranteeing us life in the corner. That's good, that's a big thing. What else is it doing?
Undercut some of black's eye space on the.
Yeah, this group is already a little bit close together. And you can imagine if White gets to play here again, there's no base here for Black. Conversely, White can get a bunch of forcing moves on the outside over here to force this Black group to live very small because its base has been threatened. So this move sets up a bunch of ways to annoy this group. And that's not even, yeah, we can even just do more direct, terrible things. Maybe peep here and then come back and connect. I don't know. There's like more severe ways we can take away the eyes with a follow-up move. Well, this move is actually quite good too. So it's guaranteeing life for our corner, guaranteeing us quite a few points. It's not a huge number of points, but it's a healthy number of points. And taking away a black base, that would normally seem like an urgent move, right?
Yeah, I guess.
You guess?
Slow.
It's really slow. The robot does not like this move. The robot really didn't want to play here. So, Black's not going to respond. Black's like, if you want to take my base, that's fine. I am the god of war. I can, fight my way out later. And so if you were Black now, what do you play? If you're not going to respond, where would you like to develop?
Kasumi in bottom right.
Kosumi?
Mm-hmm.
So you're really close. I'm going to show you this. Good idea. This is better.
Oh, this.
What is Black trying to do?
Beat the wall to beat the Moya.
Not just a moyo, like a thick moyo, right? Can you imagine if Black gets a wall here and then has this here? That gets really thick really quickly, and it's big. And so far, I'll remind you, White has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 points here. And we can give this corner about 5 points. So White has a total of 15 points plus Komi in the game. All Black has to do is find 25 points on this board, and Black is winning. So this seems very natural, yes? You guys know this Joseki? Have you ever seen this before? White high approach, attach on the outside.
Attached.
All right, there's a couple good variations here. Usually White will Hani on the outside, and the reason why White Hani's on the outside is because when Black plays here, Black is saying the outside is what's important. If White disagrees with that premise, if White's like, why are you taking the outside? The inside is worth more. White will play here. But if White agrees, oh yeah, there's something big going on here, White will play here. Black normally pulls back. That's normal. And in the game, Lee Chang-ho plays here, which is Joseki. This is a normal move. I think he should have played here, though. And so this is just another small mistake of direction, right? So now with White, we've kind of had a couple of small mistakes of direction, right? With this move being a little bit too slow, possibly this one being a little bit too passive, but I think this is still a good move. And then this one, Black has said, look, this is what I want. And White going, okay, maybe just a little bit too forgiving of your opponent. This is Joseki, like this is a good move, right? Look at White gets very solid shape over here, maybe can make some points, still has influence pointing this way. What's the problem with this move? Why doesn't Lee Chang-ho want to play here?
Cut.
Yeah, there's a cut, which Black will do immediately. And this Joseki plays out like this. This is the most normal variation. Next move for Black is a nice Tetsuji. here to fix the shape. White gets one forcing move, and that's it. White has no more forcing moves. And then usually white will make some sort of shape out here. And again, you can kind of see how this worked, right? Like black said, oh, hey, the outside's the most important thing. I want the outside. White said, no, I agree with you. The outside is the most important thing. I want the outside, but I'm going to pay you a little bit more corner territory to do it. Right, giving all these points up. And that would be a normal, this would be like a normal expected variation in the game. This is not what happens. Li Chang-ho plays here. The normal continuation for black, the most normal is actually to play here. White gets this Panuki shape. Black extends, almost getting as much territory, doesn't get to capture this stone. Still has a little bit of weakness here. And then white will come back out here. Also not what happens in the game. But this is also a very common Joseki shape. White said the outside, black said the outside is the most important. White agrees. But white says, oh, but the corner's kind of big. Let me reduce it a little bit. And black goes, oh yeah, the corner is big. And white goes, okay, I will take the outside. Right? It's sort of the conversation that happens. Yeah.
It seems like with that jump, white's actually getting more influence on that territory.
Oh yeah.
If they gave it down this way.
If black agrees, right, that the corner is pretty big.
Okay.
So that was the key.
Okay.
Hun-Hyun says, I don't care about the corner. And so they play this out. You're wondering about this. Yeah,
Like,
look.
is this like reasonable?
You know, like if you are the god of war, right? Which Hun-Hyun is, right? This is 1989, Hun-Hyun, god of war. How do you actually make war? How do you start a fight?
To attach.
I wouldn't say it's actually not about cutting.
Be greedy.
You be greedy. You take something that may or may not be yours, right? We can go back to World War II. You're Hitler. Just take Austria. Just take it. It's great. Sure. I don't think that's a good analogy. But you get the idea, right? You just take something, right? And Black's is saying, hey, this is mine. Mine. If you want it, you have to fight me for it. White plays a pretty expected Atari here. And we would expect white to normally extend, which white does. This is a normal variation. The robot, Leela,
Extend that.
yeah, thought this is a great opportunity for white to actually fight, to start the fight. Because we already know if you extend this way, black's just going to keep building this, and you're going to have to fight over it eventually. So Leo's like, no, let's just fight now. Let's just go. Right now we've already got the ladder. This group is not great. This shape is bad. You guys look at these double tiger's mouths and you're like, hey, I know that shape. That's good, right? No, this sucks. Right? You'll get dumplinged immediately. Right? How, like, this is not an eye, false eye. You're already running low on prospects. Not great shape. But it's strong enough. It's strong enough to start a fight for this. So I think Li Chang-ho missed another opportunity here of starting the fight now. Instead he plays here. It's like, this
It is big.
is big. Yeah, you can make points here. I'll build something over here. We're all good. Of course, this strategy would work a lot better if this was a white corner. But it's not. So this can only grow so much, right? We can only get so many points over here. This is already looking very, very developable, if not just territory. Hun-Hyun's going, great. Let's keep going. I'll just take a giant block of territory at the bottom of the board, just for fun. White extends again. And here's another opportunity. You can play this. This actually might even be better, because actually after this exchange, yeah, this isn't even perfect sente.
But Black's also wants to recover. I think Leela's right. You start the fight as soon as possible.
Actually, I think Leela thought the earlier fight was okay. I think it thought, in terms of win percentage, I think this one's even better. Because black doesn't get this immediate benefit.
Who is winning according to Lila at this point?
I don't know. No, I think black's up like 53-47, something like this. I don't remember the exact numbers, but black has a slight advantage here. Although,
you have a free move to peep at that
right, we still have this peep, right?
before. Why would you not do that first, given that it's almost certainly going to be?
Well, wait. So I keep showing you the variations that are not the game,
Oh, sorry.
right? But also here's the thing with Leela, right? Like Leela might say that after this move it's 53-47, right? But if white plays this and it's like, oh yeah, it's 50-50 again, you know. So it's the little graph is just like doing this thing.
I see.
You know, win percentages in the robots are really hard because they change every move, and even when it's the move that it predicts, right? And it plays the sequence it read out, right? If you guys download Leela, you can see the projected move pattern, you know, that it thinks it's going to happen. And large swaths of the game might follow that move sequence, and even though it's already calculated it out, every move the win percentage is changing, right? So it's doing that recalibration or reanalysis every time, and it's getting different answers because it's taking a lot of chance and probability to figure things out. So anyway, that's not the move. Li Cheng-ho says, okay, great, I can build something big over here. Be super strong while doing it. Now Cho Hun-Hyun comes back and it's like, okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that. There's Mark. Not really any choices, just fix. Next move for Li Cheng-ho is really interesting. It's not a move that Leela, I think, predicted in its top couple moves. Like this was not on the radar when I was looking at it. This is a move that it's pretty ambitious in a way. In a way, it's almost greedy too. Li Cheng-ho plays here. And so what's the idea?
Leave inside?
Yeah, maybe hey, I can make some shape in here and get some eyes. You know, there's other things that are quite annoying for you to deal with over here. When I jump out, that actually helps me defend this cut so I can jump out faster. You know, it does a bunch of different things. And at this point, Cho Hun-Hyun plays a very Li Cheng-ho move. Plays a very, stone Buddha kind of move.
Takes a stone. Take stone.
Take which stone?
Cutting.
Oh, this stone? Oh, that's no. Leela, I didn't run this for that many variations, so this might have needed more analysis. Leela just wanted black to play here. just come on top and just surround it inside. But Cho Hun-Hyun plays here. And what does this move accomplish, if anything? I think it does two things. What are the two things?
Connects the two groups and takes away the base alert.
Good, there you go, right? This is like a super safe, hey, I just want to make sure this stick is super strong, it has eyes, done. Number two, I want to make sure you can't live in here, done. But it does feel a little bit...
How does it do that? Let's see.
Okay. You can keep reading down. This, it feels a little bit passive, right? All this momentum is going towards the middle of the board, right? You just look at these. Look, we're already playing 6th line for white, 6th line extensions. And here is black all of a sudden switching to a 2nd line move. It just feels a little inconsistent. But it certainly gives white a chance to jump out now. So now we've got this group on the run. Officially on the run. If you have a group on the run, or if you have your opponent's group on the run, what should you do?
Chase.
Chase it, just blindly and madly, just chase it. Like a toddler chasing a ball down the beach.
Drive it in a direction you want it to go?
Good. Okay, there's another corollary to this. Make noise in the east if you want to attack in the west. Have you guys heard this before? No? Make noise in the east if you want to attack. Lean attacks, right? Do leaning attacks. Lean on something, get a little bit stronger, and then push the weak group into that. Build a fishing net, and then catch the fish. Hun-Hyun plays here. Right? He says, okay, remember your dream of building something over here? If I play over here again, I'm just gonna come around and just surround this group, and you might live, but you're gonna get no points.
Okay.
And if black can build a wall here, all of a sudden this is developable again. Li Chang-ho does not like this, so he plays here. Leela really didn't like this move. Leela was just, F that.
Just connect.
Just fly over there. Yeah, this move is huge, right? Because with this move, right, officially this group is basically impossible to attack for a long time, right? You really have to build up a lot of black stones and then find a time to cut. Second, this stone, remember we have this group over here that we invested this really slow move? Having another stone over here is really nice to attack that group. It's really, really nice. Li Chang-ho plays here. And to his credit, he didn't play here.
Is it even worse? Is it worse?
We'll find out. Here, but this move, here, what is the problem with this move?
Black can extend. Like he's happy to.
Yeah, just build one.
Well, not only can black extend, black will actually probably play over here now. Right? And this move is not nearly as helpful to helping this group as this move. Now, there's a very big difference. Like here, we're still kind of behind the enemy's wall. Over here, we're actually kind of flexible. We can kind of go around it. There's going to be a cut here if black tries to separate us. It's going to be much more useful in the fighting. So when Li Chang-ho plays here, though, what's the problem? Is there a problem with this move, or is it just glorious goodness?
There is cut.
There's a cut.
Immediately.
And who is he playing? The God of War. Okay, good. We're all on the same page now.
Yeah.
So this cut happens immediately. This is another really interesting point. If you get cut, what should you do? You have a night? Who said it? I heard something.
I said save one group.
Save one group. How?
Save one group.
Well, it depends if it's a crosscut.
Well, assume it's a crosscut. What do you do in a crosscut situation? What's like your default thing you should do?
Extend.
Is it Atari everything? No.
Protect weak.
Extend the weaker stone. Right, whatever's weaker, give it some more liberties. That's like your default. Now, there's a lot of cases where that's wrong, right? And there's better options when you do take Ataris or Tanuki or whatever. But by default, if you get crosscut, extend your weaker stone. Li Chang-ho does exactly that. He extends this way. Robot says he's still screwed up. Robot says he should have played here. Extend this way. So right concept, wrongly applied. It's not a huge difference, actually. Like both of these are really useful. But what does white have to be most careful about?
Black around.
Yeah, this group getting cut off, right? So this is a slightly better direction for that. This is more optimistic to make something really big over here, right? Can you imagine if white gets another move and plays here? Like look, this is now almost as big as this.
Right.
So
So it won't happen.
no, of course it's not going to happen. Extend this weaker stone. How is the safety of this group?
There's some squeezes there.
So.
Yeah, if black were to play again, where do you think black would play?
One space jump from 3 stones.
Very good. Shape, we have 3 stones. 1 space jump from the middle point is the weak point of 3 stones. This is a really killer move. Yeah, really hard for white to deal with this stone here. Like, super obnoxious. Because if white cuts it, what happens? Oops. Can white cut? That's self-Atari. Well, crap. Okay, that didn't work. Can white play here? Cut.
So it's like a snap.
That's a snapback. You can't cut the stone. It's just, there's nothing. There's nothing.
You gotta just connect.
You have to play here. Maybe you try this first. Get some more liberties this way and then come back. You just get really hamstrung really quickly. So, white isn't a fan of any of that. So white plays here. Shape point. Black plays here. Again, threatening to come around and take, having almost all the same problems. So white extends again. And now, black comes back here.
Now, what's what plan?
White needs a plan. Something that's also interesting, if you guys can go put some of these games into Leela, it's kind of fun to also see like what the percentages are for what Leela thinks the next move is going to be played.
This is Leela?
No, well, this is a 1989 game between Hun-Hyun and Lee Chang-ho.
Okay.
But I put a few moves into Leela and saw what happened.
You mean you played these moves? How did you get Leela to...
I'll let you work out the details, Dan. Okay. But Leela will also tell you what it thinks professional moves are going to, what moves are going to be played by professionals, according to its computer, right? According to what it thinks, like what percentage. And it's just kind of fun, like when you're putting a professional game in to see how often the professionals, or how often Leela guesses what the professionals move, how often Leela thinks the professionals play is what they actually play. Did I say that even close to English? No. Anyway, some of these moves are in this fight, like Leela was like 90% sure, like this is the move the professional's gonna play, boom, and the professional did. So it's kind of amusing for that reason. But the next move, it did not predict the professional. This one, it was like, oh yeah, professional's gonna play here. The next move, Leela thought professional will play here. And black did not. No. This was, Leela said there was like also like, there's a 10% chance the professional plays here or something. And also Leela thought the professional should play here actually. But Hun-Hyun did neither of these things. What was your move?
Jumping.
There you go. This is what he put.
Yeah. But it just isn't. He's trying to separate that. I just.
Because if white gets to play at L12 there.
Seems like it's letting this off the hook.
It does, doesn't it? White actually plays here instead of here. I think this is probably slightly better. White doesn't really want to touch this though because of this. You want to not give black an opportunity to make this stronger in case it helps this group. It's like this is a slightly more like let's leave the forest and nature people alone.
More Buddha.
More Buddha, yeah. We'll come back and play something more severe later. And this stone has a much better relationship with these two, right? So if you feel like these two are going to get into trouble, this, it intuitively makes sense for this one to be the more helpful stone. Yeah. I mean, I buy it. I think that's good too, though. Yeah, but this stone is almost like it's trying too hard, right? Like it's like black really doesn't want white to link these two stones up. Like this is a weak group, this is a weak group, and you're like, must keep weak groups separated.
But what if white plays at L12?
Oh, cuts right now?
No, L12.
Hiding on the inside.
No, white.
That's not L12 at all. Oh, here.
That's still not.
Yeah, exactly. Then these two groups, black needs to fix here. It basically links up. Is this your question?
Mark says Hane the 3 stones.
Hane 3 stones. Here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's L12.
I think black can still jump out.
Yeah, this is a good move though. Yeah,
Because
because if black comes over here, right, you get all these forcing stuff. Yeah.
So it seems like either way white connects, like or jumps out or connects.
Right. So this is saying defiantly, no, you can't. You can jump out, but you can't connect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Good observation. Computer still thinks this is the biggest.
It's very big.
Computer really wants to play over there.
It's a big move. Is that just because if white wraps around the 3 steps?
So basically, if black gets one more liberty here,
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, this white group isn't completely solid because there's moves like this.
Plus, if white gets to go there,
Yeah, and then black's under attack.
And
there's nothing
yeah,
worth fighting over anymore.
it's one of those urgent places where you can either be strong and your opponent weak, or your opponent can be strong and you can be weak, right? And to boot, if you get stronger and your opponent's weak, you already have the corner back up here, right? This is actually can be just turned into 4th or 5th line territory just real easily, right? If you find 1 or 2 extra moves. So really huge move. Black takes 1 forcing move first over here. And then what was black's objective with this move? And so black is foregoing, right, the ability to just rule this side of the board, right, to keep this center fight in his favor. Right, to keep these two stones weak. Black's gambling, right? Black's saying, look, if these two stones can't fight, then these three stones have nothing to worry about. I can keep the attack up on this weak group, and if I can keep up the attack on this weak group, well then this group has no problems, and it's just smooth sailing. And you know, white still hasn't really taken any territory. It's true that black's territory has been reduced, but you know, it's the god of war. He's not interested in playing territory, right? He just wants to keep groups weak and things running, and he'll find points later. Not important to find points now. Of course, white plays here. Comes back to this side, because again, this is just so huge. Hun-Hyun plays here. Lila actually thinks this is better.
Who's better? Is it Hun-Hyun or Lila?
I don't know.
Lila,
Really?
probably.
I don't know, this is a title game. All right, the next move got really interesting because it was not on Lila's radar for like its top like 20 moves. Because Lee Chang-ho's looking at this board and going, okay, I'm fine over here. This group is fine. I've got points. I don't really feel like fighting anymore. I play here. It was like, okay. You know, meanwhile, Lila wants to do like all these things and follow-ups and run things out and attack, and he's like, yeah, let's play over here. And the thing is, like when you're putting it into the computer too, it's not like when I put this move into Lila was like, okay, fine, the game's still even, right? It's like, or even close enough. Like it wasn't a huge like negative swing for white, right? So again, don't trust the robots and their win percentages and their things, you know. Because even after it recalculated, it's like, oh yeah, that's fine. Damn you, robot! Damn you. For that matter, the next move that Hun-Hyun plays also not on Lila's radar. They're going on human script here. Because I think the way Hun-Hyun looks at this game is, you know, he's not, you know, there's like a feeling element, right? There's a feeling element to it, and he's going, you know, we just haven't done enough fighting yet. Right? You know, there's like more stuff to do here. So he plays over there. Again, not on Lila's radar. Lila would so much prefer black to play over here, right? Just help out this group, give it some backup, you know. Let white take some territory here, get this strong. He's like, no, let's just play over here. And you know, I think the key, right, to his reasoning is that he's like, look, white has weak groups on the board. I can play whatever I want. I can, you know, I have all the forcing moves. I can do whatever I want because white has weak groups. Of course, black has weakish groups too, right? Like here, maybe these two stones can be cut, and over here, but that's not important. What does this play? What's the natural move for white to do in this situation? Does anyone know?
Kick.
Kick, yeah, absolutely. This is not what Hun-Hyun does. So why do you kick here? Why do you make this exchange as white?
There is pincer.
There's already a pincer stone, right? If black builds a wall here, what is that wall going to do? There's no friends nearby, right? Black can't extend from it. Black can't use its strength to do much. So we kick. We just make it heavy, and then take our territory. Lee Chang-ho doesn't do that. And part of that, I think, is also just, there's this thing that happens in Go, right, where I think through this time period, right, through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, you know, this move gets treated as being kind of dirty and like not good. And the reason is because players have all these ways to sort of counteract it, right? Like if you make this exchange, especially if there's not a white stone here, and come back over here, well, all of a sudden, you have a 2-stone wall with a 3-space extension. Black can make an ideal shape. Second, black can play over here and make this exchange. And if white sort of cowers, depending on the variation we want to do here. This is your most common variation. Black can actually reduce quite a few points to that corner and get a bunch of liberties and get stronger. Right? So it's not like kicking even guaranteed you the corner. And that's not even I'm just looking at the variations where black stays strong on the outside. There's other variations where black just invades the corner and, lets these stones run for their lives later on, right? There's that the kicking doesn't actually solve a whole lot of, or just give you a whole lot of guaranteed points in the corner. So for a long time, right, professionals learn not to kick this stone like this. And you know what really happened that brought everyone just became kick crazy again? Like in the last 3 years? AlphaGo, right? It's all these robots that are all of a sudden kicking again. They're like, oh yeah, kicking's great, just kick everything. Not in every situation, but especially in situations where you already have a pincer stone in place, you have to kick. Li Cheng-ho does not, and just plays there. Again, that to some degree, that's probably what he was taught, right? Like the kicking doesn't gain you that much, so why do it? That's just, again, how Go has evolved and perspectives has changed over time. Black plays here. So what is black doing with this move?
Attacking the white stone and creating territory in the upper right.
Yeah, I think 3 things really. Number 1, putting a lot of pressure on this one stone. Number 2, starting to build this. And number 3, what about these 2 stones?
Yeah, where are they going to go now?
Yeah, now there's even a fewer places for them to go, and if black, just runs this up, black can actually make a nice chunk of territory right here. White doesn't know what to do with this. And this is a good move. What is it doing?
Attacks that group.
Yeah, look, hey, we've had this weak group over here. Remember this move we played a long time ago to start an attack? White is finally doing something with that attack. But black plays here. White connects. And this exchange is actually really important. Like, this is really nice timing. Everyone agrees. I think the professionals, the robots, they all say play here right now. And so the question is why? Why would black need to play here right now?
Right now this is too big for white to sacrifice. However, if white's going to kill this group, then white can sacrifice this.
Good. So I don't know which things we're talking about sacrificing, but I think White doesn't really want to give up all these points, right? Look how hard we work to reduce them. So white really wants to block here. But you could say, hey, we don't need to make that exchange. White, we can ask white that later, right? But the difference happens when there is an exchange where we trade. Because if white were to play here right now, where does black play? Well, if black says, hey, I'm going to play here, force white to go there, and then connect up, white might say, no. I'm going to play here. And then now that, look at this, right? Now that I've done that, I'm going to come back and kill that. Right? So white will give up these 3 stones to kill these 5, 7, really, black stones. So, instead of allowing that to happen, black pushes. And the game, oops, that's not there. He plays here. Now this is linked up to these 2 stones. Now there's still a problem. What's the problem?
Black's groups be split, black's left group be split.
Yeah, there's still this move. And Leela thinks Li Cheng-ho should play this. Like, I think immediately, if not very soon. But Li Cheng-ho plays this first. His reasoning isn't that hard to see. He's still thinking, look, I've got a stick here that can still get into a lot of trouble. Let's get it out. Second, I hadn't quite figured out what I wanted to do with this stone yet. Well, this stone helps it. This stone, we can still attack. And again, this stone helps. These two stones might still be able to be saved. And again, this stone helps. Or this is kind of like an ear-reddening move kind of situation where we have a move somewhere in the middle of the board that does a lot of things, right? That can attack, can defend, still threatens the invasion, keeps us safe, threatens to pull these stones out, right? We're looking at like 5 different things this stone helps us do. But it doesn't do any of those things particularly well, right? It's quite far away from all these individual tasks that white wants to do later. And so probably doing this is probably the more severe and better thing for white. But nonetheless, Li Chang-ho plays here, and he has to get good value out of this move. All right, the next move, not really on Lila's radar. There's things like it on Lila's radar. But again, Hun-Hyun's going, oh, you played a move that did like 6 things. Ha! I'll do a move that like does 6 things. Right? So what is this move doing?
It's actually same,
It's like the same 6 things, right?
but opposite, on opposite side.
Yeah, it's just you know, different spacing. This is kind of like that situation that ICQ players occasionally have where like they play a ladder breaker that's kind of wishy-washy like on the other side of the board, and then the other player plays a ladder breaker like right behind it. And they keep like there's a ladder going this way, right? And they keep like breaking each other's ladders by playing successive ladder breakers. They're all dumb moves, right? The board looks stupid at the end of it. You guys ever have this happen to you? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, it's great. It's like someone just finished the ladder, okay? Like don't keep playing these stupid looking ladder breakers. All right, sorry, that's my own funny joke. Okay, Li Chang-ho now needs to like find another move that does a bunch of things, because that's the name of the game. You have any ideas? What's like the craziest like thing that does a bunch of stuff that you can think of?
H11.
H11, oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. It doesn't feel like it does enough in this area, right? This is the really confusing area.
E8.
E8? That's pretty close. D8, that's even closer.
D7.
Yeah, this one. This is the one Li Chang-ho finds. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to pressure this stone. I'm going to get this stone out. I'm going to pressure this stone. I'm going to give this group a friend. I'm going to start building a little moyo here and attack this at a distance. That's great, right?
He is optimist.
He's very optimist. Well, again, it's like these moves, right? That do like 6 things, kinda, sorta, a little bit. All right, the next move everyone agrees on. Robots, humans alike. Play here.
Why not 3-3?
Ah, what happens in the 3-3?
Cut. I mean,
Yeah.
disconnect.
Yep.
Get in the corner.
Yeah, black will get the corner. What does white get?
Influence.
Yes. What is more important right now in this game?
Difficult to say.
The influence. So white almost for sure will come back here now. It's if all these white stones, right, have friends to connect to, white will be in a position where white can feel like he can do all the things he wants to do. If, on the other hand, here we'll play a little bit of the game variation. Black gets something on the outside. All these white stones are going to look much weaker. And we're going to walk, again, we're talking about the god of war, right? What does he want? He doesn't really want to live in the corner anyway. That's not what we're doing here. Look at all these crappy stones just floating. We want the outside. So when white plays here, black does not play here. This would be the normal, like, I'm just going to make a base, kind of live, you know, do peaceful things. No, black plays here. This is normally an awful move. You should not play this. This is not Joseki. Okay, warning, alert, alert. Because what is white's next move? Atari. And if you connect, you just look dumb. What is this stone? This is nothing. This is almost like a negative stone. You almost wouldn't want a stone to be there. Like, you'd almost feel better if there wasn't a stone there, right? It's just that bad of a place for it. But this is Hun-Hyun. What is he going to do?
Jump.
Yes.
Ko. We're gonna ko.
I saw that coming.
Oh yeah, I know you did. Because this is how all of your games go.
Oh, shush.
Yeah. This ko is not a ko you almost ever want to play. Right? If black loses this ko, what happens to all of this?
So white.
It turns very white. It turns very, very white. So sure. Now at this point, the robot actually, once this ko gets started, if you are a slave to watching win percentages on that little robot, little meter, you hit I think the F8 key on Leela and you got that little graph. Leela gets very confused as far as win percentages. She plays very strong, but again, you can't be a slave to those win percentages because they're just like I think during this sequence they swing back and forth like maybe close to 15%, maybe a little even more. Like it's not helpful. But certainly white takes the ko, and black has to find a threat. That's the threat black finds.
You did say something about there's a bunch of weak white groups.
I did, didn't I? So what is this move threatening?
To kill center white probe.
We have the stick, right? Black gets one more move here. This stick gets real hard to make life for. And actually it gets hard to make life for because black still has this move, right? This move really prevented white from making eyes down here very easily. So black plays here. The other thing this move does is what?
Reinforces that.
Hey, remember this problem over here? Hey, this is a way to help it at a distance. White response here. And for now, black's like, okay, take ko. White's turn to make a ko threat. Again, we have all this just scraggly stuff happening with this giant weak group attached. So white just plays here. Black uses this opportunity to make the ko bigger. And of course, white takes. All right, so now it's getting serious. Black plays this as a threat. And that's a big threat. We talked about how important this move was before, right? Well now, if black can play here and then play here again, not only is it just as big as before, white wasted a move over here, right? So it's like black got to play this for free. So black doesn't get that, white does respond, and black takes the ko. Now because the ko is made bigger, white can't keep fighting this. Very difficult to keep finding threats. So white backs off. Black makes shape. White fixes when there's actually a push-cut problem. And black plays here. God of War. We fight now. So what's alive, what's not? Question, is this alive?
Yes.
That's safe, okay. Is this alive?
Black?
Maybe.
Yeah, the black. Not really, it still has a problem. It still has a little bit of a problem. It very much depends on the reading and finding eyes over here. I think right now it's not terrible, but I think white gets a lot of advantage by pushing here and exploiting some weaknesses that then white can then poke at these defects with. All right, what else is alive or not? Is this black stick alive? Yeah, remember we played this anchor move. Okay, that should be fine. Are these three black stones alive?
Yes.
Yes, connected to stick. Okay. How about these two black stones?
One move to connect on either side.
One move to connect on either side should be okay. How about the black ko shape?
That's great.
looks like it could be a liability. The white stick.
I guess you could try to do something.
Li Chang-ho plays here. He's like, the white stick's the biggest thing that's not alive. We have to come back here. Leela really wants him to make this exchange though. And there's also this move as well. And actually, I might have to play this move before this move. I don't know the order of the exchanges that need to be made here. But this is also a good exchange.
So after white makes this exchange, if black responds by taking white, then there is a possibility down here of like maybe separating the stick.
Yeah, we can even play very simple moves,
very,
right?
Like,
yeah, like this starts to look
tenuous.
pretty live, you know, starting to look like we can make eyes pretty easily. So yeah, this move seems really important. I can understand a professional not wanting to make it though, because once you make it, you don't really get to come back and play this cut, right? Because you can see if once white plays here, this is self-Atari for black. So it's sort of, you know, this is like one of those situations where you have like you have one resource that you can use either this way or you can use it this way. And I'm not sure if this is all what was going through his head, but this happens in my games all the time, right? Where I don't know which one to play. Like I realize, oh, I have this Aji here, and I can spend it this way, or I can spend it this way. And what happens? I end up doing neither, and I never get to use it, and my opponent wins the game. It's real tragic. But after white plays here, black fixes this Aji. Maybe this is good timing now. Maybe you need to play here first. I don't know. Li Chang-ho plays here. Black pushes here. And this seems like the natural move, right? And Leela wanted to play here too, because it looks like it's forcing. I think Li Chang-ho is still thinking that, hey, if someday I actually make eyes here, I'm actually going to play this move. So he doesn't want to touch it, remember? Like you know, natural forest land. We'll preserve it for later. So he finds another way to have an effect on this thing that's happening. Black immediately cuts. White comes back here to make eye space. Black just cleans this out. How do these 4 white stones look? Sad. How do they get in such shape? Well, because white had to worry about the stick, right? If you attack, you can win, right? This is a way how you win, how you can profit. But white's not done with them. White plays here. Black plays here. Actually, this is starting to look like it can make eye space, right? We play here, just staying strong, building over here, and again, potentially taking away eye space. And white goes back to this co. You can see, right, there's cuts on either side. We go back to something like a co-fight. We respond. Black takes co. White plays here. This is a really nice shape move. What does that move do?
Potential eye space, right?
Yeah, again, it looks we're starting to build potential eye space here. It also starts setting us up to build multiple eyes along the edge. Right? It also helps us connect all of these 3 stones, right, with this one move, which is really useful if we need to win the ko this way.
Those black stones are starting to look pretty isolated.
These?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
I was wondering if black would be jumping up pretty soon. I was wondering if white maybe wants to do that.
Well, black doesn't really want to jump out because then white will either win the ko outright or live outright, and black can still make the ko bigger to live, right? Like if white wastes dame moves over here, black can still just go all out and just say, hey, let's fight a ko for everything over there.
Okay, so it's
Not just the life of these. We can fight a ko for both of these. So black has that possibility as well. Black does respond. White now takes this move as a co-threat. Black responds. White now comes back and plays this. Black responds. And white comes back here. And now at this point, after this group has shape, black now just peacefully, well, mostly peacefully jumps out. For the most part, this is all settled. Black can capture 3 stones here. Atari descend, right? Whenever black wants. But especially after this move.
White can capture.
Sorry, white, thank you. Black has enough friends over here that the entire thing won't turn to white. And this really, can't be killed at this point. We still have a little bit of the white stick issue, but again, white can make the 2 eyes pretty easily whenever we need to. And so Li Chang-ho plays over here for endgame. And I'm not going to play out the rest of the game, but I'm just going to skip forward here. What ends up happening is basically black does indeed end up making this ko bigger and winning it. White actually demolishes all the points over here. Black does a really good job of just demolishing everything. Black still ends up getting a little bit here, but it's very tiny. Actually, yeah, white actually ends up crawling all the way through here with this group. Black does get a few points over here, but again, white breaks through all this stuff. Black does get this corner. White gets a little bit over here, but again, because black wins this ko, there's really not that much in the corner. And the end result is Hun-Hyun beats Li Chang-ho by 8.5 points. So the teacher remains the teacher. And 1989, I don't know how many times they played, but it's a lot. It's like they're playing in a tournament, they're meeting, facing off in a tournament or a title game. Like it's like at least once every 2 weeks or so, like during this year. This is like the year. The game after this, Hun-Hyun wins again, but the one after is the first time Li Chang-ho beats him. And for a little while, they sort of trade games back and forth, and then it just turns very Li Chang-ho soon after. And so this is the part of the game, this end game, is where Li Chang-ho is most strong at, the end game. He's very tight reading situations, comparing value between 2 points. He does that calculation very quickly, very easily. In this game, it's not close enough because, if we look where white's points are, there's not much here. Even though white reduces all this, he also gets reduced himself, so there's not much points for white here. This is very small. Again, the corner gets shrunk, so this is less than 10. We have almost 10 in that corner. So in the end, white just doesn't have enough points on the board. Neither does black. But black already has, decent sized profit here and here, and enough here to hang on. So yeah. Okay. Is that anticlimactic?
Yeah.
See, the problem with playing Go games all the way out to the end is that they're naturally anticlimactic because each move gets smaller and smaller. Just as you progress. Here, I'll tell you if...
Well, that sort of gets back to the idea,
black-
if you get the first move right, everything else should be easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, black only ends up getting 3 points in this whole corner. This all gets reduced.
On which side did black respond?
Oh, black responds on this side. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think he plays there,
And with this shape block, black got 3 points. In the
Black ends up with exactly these 3 points because this white group ends up crawling all the way through here. Yeah. But what black gains, he actually gains almost 15 points through here between these two captures, and he gets a strip of points this way. Oh yeah, actually this ko that black wins even becomes bigger because he gets all these points as well. Yeah, and black also gets to come back and fix over here first, so white doesn't even get to capture anything over here because white's too busy destroying this stuff. So, I don't know. Humans are still pretty cool at Go. They're fun to watch, at least.
So that K-17 move, did he just hold off on that for so long so he could use it as a threat later?
This is not a move you want to play. period.
Okay.
He used it as a threat. I would even say it's a borderline bad threat. Because you're shorting liberties on your own weak group, right? This group only has 5 liberties. It's like, hey, let's just take one, let's just have 4. I don't need 5. No, that's not how you should think about your weak groups. So this would normally be a bad exchange. Unless you're gonna play here, cut immediately and get some benefits, you shouldn't short yourself liberties.
So once the J17 move was up, playing K17 was just bad.
This is bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, was he maybe,
But in the context, like, he keeps fighting these huge codes, right? Right, or at least this particularly huge one, and then after it blocks out, it gets somewhat smaller. He's okay to use it for a co-threat. It's like, okay, that's a big enough time for me to use it. Partially just because it also gives him more co-threats too. I mean, he could play another quote-unquote bad move, right? Or probably this side. Yeah, this hasn't happened yet, so probably this side. He could play more bad threats if the co is that big, right? Threats that lose you points or really aren't that good exchanges.
was he, did he do that because that's the best threat he can come up with?
This is a huge threat. Absolutely.
Well, I said, or
Yeah.
did he do that because maybe he has a bigger threat, but that's good enough and he doesn't see any other good use for it?
It's really hard to see bigger threats. Like, I think it's just the biggest threat.
The biggest threat you can come up
Yeah.
with. I mean, you don't always want to make the biggest threat. You want to make one that's just marginally bigger than what you're going for, I think.
Yeah, I'll not comment.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I don't know how to answer that right now. I mean, maybe you could have found a bigger threat against the stick, but maybe not, because if you're only like threatening to cut off part of the stick, having all this turn to white would be like, white would be fine with that, right? Like for white to have Panukis here, I can't stress how happy that would make white.
I mean, I can see wanting to save a good threat or two for something else you have you see coming up. So you don't necessarily want to use the best threat, but good enough.
I see, yeah. But the question, I mean, there's also like if you just make a good enough threat, then your opponent will be happy ignoring it.
Well,
Right.
if you get some marginal advantage out of it, which, I mean,
co is hard. I don't want to calculate co threats right now.
okay. I don't know either.
Because there's also different types of co's and situations, where, yeah, you just have to add up a lot of stones. I'm not prepared to teach this right now, is what I'll say. I'm kind of tired after this lesson. Someday, we can do another co-counting workshop. We can evaluate levels of threats. There is a book called All About Co that I've read, I think twice. Let me see if I have it. I don't have it here. No. But if you're really interested in like counting co-threat values and strategizing the order of your co-threats, that's probably a pretty good place to start. It's all about co. I'm pretty sure it's a Richard Bozelich series book.
Is that one I consider my most critically needed skill?
Yeah, exactly. But I think the real lesson, right, that you guys can all take away is to recognize that this isn't a move you should be happy about making, right? This is the type of exchange you make if you have to. And the fact that it's a bad move also incentivizes white to move there, right? Like to not take the co for himself, because it's like, okay, black made a bad exchange. I should respond to this. And so if you really want to win a co, it's a way to incentivize your opponent too.
What about coming on the outside at H17?
For black,
Yeah.
like here, this doesn't feel big enough.
But I guess you're also kind of threatening to turn the corner at that point into like most.
Like here.
No, like with one more move, that entire quadrant seems to be.
But there's a big difference on the effect of this group.
I see. So you're not actually.
Right. So this is,
But if white doesn't respond, then black can push down.
then we can push down, but in this case, white's going to respond here,
Okay.
right?
So you really.
Actually, white will probably still respond here, right? Because this is still fine. Either way, I'm not sure. But either way, white will play probably play a slightly different variation that just guarantees this
I
safety.
guess I had the feeling throughout this game that if black had just come back and defended that quadrant, black would have had enough points to win this game. But that's, I mean, like, that's also maybe not the attitude that,
Maybe, but you know, Lee Chang-ho is also really good. And he's
yes,
going to invade you.
I agree.
So I can't say that definitively. But here's the other, in response to your first question, if white plays here, black still wants to play here, right? Yes, I mean, you still want to play here if white just comes down. Okay, so if you want to make this move anyway, then what is this move doing here?
I see. So if white's going to respond that way, wasting another move.
Exactly, yeah. So
to
it's,
capture that white stone.
so yeah, it's a bad co-threat, but it's like, I don't think white's going to respond to this one. Yeah, it doesn't have enough momentum on this side. It only really cares about this, right? This is very one-sided. This is saying, look, I'm going to eat your stone and threaten you over here.
It's too hard.
It's too hard. Go is too hard. All right. So anyway, you guys want to play some games?
Yes.